Hello, welcome to my channel, A Book Forest. My name is Kim and today I'm going to be doing a review of The Lions of Al-Rassan by Gavriel. Okay, I love this book very much. I gave this 5 stars when I read it in March, and I think it's probably gonna be my favorite book I've read this year, unless there's like something that comes up that surprises me, but it would be very difficult to dislodge it. I love this. I think it's an amazing starting point for Gavriel. If you want to dip into his works and you don't know where to start, I would start with this. It's a great example of all his strengths and his personal style. He does pseudo history, so his fantasy world, very little magic, but it's definitely another real world. It has different names, different everything. It's just that it's inspired by real history and the real world. So this was inspired by the history of the Reconquista in Spain in the 15th century, very loosely. I mean, if you know the history, you'll see where it meshes up. But if you don't know the history, it's actually not a big deal. You will enjoy this as well. It's not a prerequisite at all. It's very well written, lovely writing that Gavriel does, and it has amazing characters. So the story starts with España, with a big country like Spain, and then it has Al-Rassan, which is another country south of Spain, which is similar to Andalusia or Al-Andalus. And then you also have different cultures in those worlds, different characters. You have Rodrigo from España, you have Amar from Al-Rassan, and you have Jahain, who is neither. She's from Kindath, so probably equivalent to modern day, to the Jews of that time. But yeah, she's like in a separate, they don't have their own country, these people, and she's a very great doctor. She's been trained by her father, who's one of the best doctors that ever lived, and she's all about her vocation. Rodrigo has a family of his own. He's been married for years and has teenage kids. He has a horse, like he raises horses, but he's also a captain in the army, and he's a very high positioned person in the court of the king in España. And Amar is similar to him in Al-Rassan. He's like the confidant of the king. He's like the vizier. He's very powerful, and they're very different but also very similar in terms of they're bigger than life. And all these people, for a reason or another, they end up in the same place outside of their own countries. So there's a lot of events, like a lot of churn, like war rising up, maybe a lot of differences, a lot of outside threats as well, coming from the south, like from what would be North Africa now, from tribes there. There's a lot of politicking, like if you like political intrigue, you'll be served. And there's also like the main characters, but there's like the supporting cast, which are like a young soldier in Rodrigo Belmonte's army, who's coming out of this little farm and he's never seen anything, but he's just discovering the world. He's young. And then there's like a fat merchant, a very rich merchant that Jahain is treating because he has gout and all sorts of illnesses because he's overindulging, and what happens to him, and all sorts of beautiful characters that evolve over the course of the story alongside our main trio. I was enchanted, really. All the characters are great in their own way. They have weight, they have purpose, they have their own arcs, and they're also believable and charming. And it's definitely the found family trope that I love, like people with similar values, similar interests, they come together and they they found each other, and they have great friendships and loves. But the thing that's amazing about this book is that those people, they're not coming from all the same places. They don't have the same cultures, the same types of ruling in their countries, the same religion. They have families maybe, or other careers, and it's basically like the tug of war between all those different allegiances, and which is gonna be the bigger picture for them. Like, what is going to be the ultimate allegiance? And you don't know. Like, all of them are so complex. So they all have their own strings pulling them, and you see the strings pulling them, and they're beautiful. It's beautifully done. I was very moved, and I cried. I love those characters. Yeah, the plot is really exciting and interesting, but what ultimately brought this on the top of the pile for me is the characters and their interactions. The fact that it broke my heart. This book literally broke my heart at the end. I was bawling my eyes out. Yeah, like there's sorry, I have a cold. Different quotes. For example, sorry. Alvar, who is the young soldier, saw the white moon low in the sky, as if resting above the long sweep of the plain. It was a strange moment for him. Looking back after, he would say that he grew older during the course of that long night by Fesana, that the doors and windows of an uncomplicated life were opened, and the shadowed complexity of things was first made known to him. Not the answers, of course, just the difficulty of the questions. So that's really nice. And there's also here, but now you can, don't you see? It isn't a dream anymore. The world has changed. When you can do what you dreamed about, sometimes it isn't as simple anymore. So yeah, you have a view of what you really want, and then when you have it in your grasp, that's not a simple choice anymore. So yeah, I was very, very impressed. And there's also different types of loves or friendships shown in these books. Like, there's so many relationships between all the characters, like not just one interacting with all the cast, like they're all interacting together, and each have their relationship with each of the other characters. So there's love, there's platonic love, there's what I call bromance, there's actual lust at first sight, there's like people who have been married for years and their interactions, and there's people who are just falling in love. There's maybe a few love triangles, but not cringy. Yeah, and then there's like battles and war and all this stuff in politics. So I highly, highly recommend this book. Hopefully I wasn't rambling too much. And yeah, if you decide to give it a try, just let me know what you thought. If you found other things that themes that I wasn't necessarily aware of, or if you you enjoyed it, hopefully. So, and see you next time.